Hi, my name is Dr. Mcdaniel. I'm going to be your teacher this semester. Wanted to give you a little bit of information about myself. I've been teaching at MTSU full-time since 1995. I was there as a TA in 1993. My major was math, of course, and I got a master's in math, and my doctorate is in education from Tennessee State University. I actually went to undergraduate work at MTSU and did some graduate work there in math, my master's in math at MTSU, and graduated in 95. I taught for the math department for 4 years, from 95 to 99, and switched over to what is now known as University Studies back in 1999, and have been with them ever since. My area of interest is I love teaching math. I love working with students. And my current research interest is in statistics education. So if you're in the stats class, that is where most of my research revolves. We do a lot of activities in that class and a lot of research within that class itself. If you're in the college algebra or math 1000 or another class, I still love teaching those classes as well. I just don't have a lot of research going on within those classes. So again, I look forward to working with you the rest of the semester. In the subsequent video you'll see that should come right after this, I'll give you a walkthrough of the syllabus and how to log into Mymathlab. Hello, this is Dr. Mcdaniel. I'm going to give you a quick little walkthrough of the course. So what you're going to do is you're going to first go to mymathlab.com. And when you get there, you'll come to this screen here, and you will need to register for an account. If you're repeating this course, or if you already have had another course that used Mymathlab, you can just sign in. So if you've never registered in Mymathlab, you'll need to click here, and you will need an access code. So in my class, you have two options. You can either buy a textbook that comes with an access code, or you can just buy the access code online and don't get a textbook. So this is the online Math 1000 class. Many students don't feel they need the physical copy of the book because the entire book is actually online. But some students, and I would be in this category, need a physical copy of the book. You'd hate to not get the grade you want because you didn't have a physical copy of the book. It costs just a few dollars more, maybe $20 or $30 more, and it's definitely worth it if you're one of those that needs that. With that said, I don't assign anything out of the book. I don't refer to the book, so I'll leave that up to you. So once you get that access code, you will sign in. So we'll click sign in. And you will have only one or two courses up here. So this is the course I'm going to go through now, Math 1000K. This is fall 2012. And so you click on your course. And once you get in, the course should look something like this. I may change a few links around, but all this is what it should look like. So I first want to go through the syllabus. So notice here you have upcoming assignments. It should let you know what you have upcoming. It tells you when the next one's due. It'll also show up here in this calendar. So let me see. I think the first one's not due until the Tuesday of the first week of class. So you can hover your mouse, and if you want to, you can go ahead and just click there. So click on syllabus, and I highly recommend go ahead and printing this out. So let me expand this. Okay. So let me move this so you can see full. Okay. So instructor Scott McDaniel, that's me, and my office is in the Stark Agricultural Building, room 118, and there's the phone number. Most online students find it hard to come to campus for many reasons, so email is definitely a good way to get in touch with me. I check it rapidly, so I'm always checking the email, and I should respond within 24 hours. Course description, I'll let you read that. As for objectives, I'll let you read through that. Website. Okay, so we've already been introduced to mymathlab.com. You will have to get an activation code. So in the survey I sent out, that was one of the questions that I asked, that you would be able to do this the first day of class. What I found is students that get the trial code don't end up doing too well. So make sure you do everything you possibly can to get in that first day. If you get behind on day one, it's really tough to get caught back up. If you have any questions, if you have any problems getting logged in, so with sort of administrative Mymathlab stuff, here's a 1-800 number to call, or you can use their 24/7 chat, which I sometimes find a little bit quicker. So I'll do the 24/7 chat all the time. So you can go there. When you go to mymathlab.com, you'll see a link for that. And you'll also need the Testing Center website, and I've included that here. So we have 2 proctored tests, the midterm and final, as I also mentioned in the survey. And so you'll need to schedule the test with the Testing Center here at MTSU, even if you're scheduling it for off-campus. We have some people that are going to be out of the country potentially, and they will take it at an approved proctoring center there. Usually another community college, another university. Sometimes public libraries will be willing to do that too. Office hours, I figure for the online class, probably best just to say virtual office hours. I'm good with email. If we need to do this via Skype or FaceTime, I'm game for that as well. I'm only teaching 1 class on ground this time, so I think we'll be okay. Placement, you read that. And materials, so as I mentioned earlier, you can either buy this text, Essentials of Mathematics, second custom edition for MTSU, or that comes with an access code, or you can buy just the online code. And the entire book is online, so it's up to you. You also need an 83 or 84 plus or 84 calculator for the course. So if you don't already have one, go ahead and get one of those. You will also need it for your subsequent course, whether that be Math 1710, Math 1010, or 1530, the College Algebra, Gen Ed, or Statistics, respectively. Okay, so make sure, I've put this here in red and boxed it. In order to receive a passing grade in this course, you must achieve an average of at least 60% on the midterm and final. So if this is accomplished, then I'll just use your total points earned, whatever you have. But if you don't get that, you'll get an automatic F in the course. So you have to get at least an average of 60% on the midterm and final. So let's say you made a 50 on the midterm. That means you have to get at least a 70 on the final to pass the course, to have a chance of passing the course, right? Online test. So there are 3 online tests worth 100 points each. There's a proctored midterm at 250 points, homework at 100 points, quizzes at 100 points, and a proctored final at 250 points. And you can see the percentages out to the side. And here are the test dates. So, I mean, this really should be on your refrigerator, on your nightstand, on your computer. Make sure you have these. Do not get late on a test, particularly this first test. Students that miss this first test or turn in late often do not even finish the course. Really do everything you can to get that first test done on time. And again, the midterm and final, the only 2 proctored tests. All the other tests are online. So the tests, there are 3 online tests, and you can see up here, test 1, 3, and 4 are online. And there are also 3 practice tests. Now you have to take these practice tests, and you have to get at least a 50% on the practice test before you can even attempt the test. Now let me caution you, don't just take the practice test until you get a 50%, because do you know what you're going to get on the test? You're going to get about a 50. They're basically the same thing. I just resaved it and called it the test. So I recommend, even if you get above a 70, I recommend still doing it twice. It pulls different items from a test bank that I've created. So I recommend take the practice test until you get the grade you want on the test, and then take the test. Now the online test, you actually get 2 points. You get 2 chances to take it. Not the midterm and final. Maybe the midterm. I haven't decided yet, unless I actually have, and it's in here already. You also get 5 extra points added to your test, each of the 4 tests, not the final, but the first 4 tests, if you actually take them by the deadline. So that's just sort of a carrot out there for you to reach for. Then there's a 3-day grace period, and then 10 points deducted if you take it after that 3-day grace period. Homework. There's online homework, and I'll show you all this once we get in there. So there's online homework. You have to get at least a 50% on the homework before moving on to the next section. Now most students don't have a problem with that. You can do each problem until you get them correct. And I'll show you how that works as well. Again, if you have problems, there is a helpline here, not for help with doing the math, but for if you have any sort of technical difficulties with trying to get logged in or something. Okay, there are 2 types of online quizzes. We have video lecture quiz, which is really just a way for me to make sure you watch the video lecture, and I'll show you that in a minute. And then there are the online quizzes. About every 2 or 3 sections there's an online quiz. And you can take these quizzes 5 times if done by the due date. After the due date, you can take it, but you can only take it 1 time. Okay, so another sort of carrot out there for you to get the quizzes done by the due date. I know there's a lot of stuff thrown at you. The policies here are sometimes a little strange. Almost all of these policies are here to motivate you to get the material done by the due dates. But there's also added flexibility as well. Just like with the homework, I have due dates, but they're very flexible. There's nothing counted off if you don't get them done by the due date. But the quizzes, in a sense, there's something counted off, right? You only get to take it 1 time. By the due date, you get to take it 5 times. The test, you get to take 2 times, but you get 5 extra points if taken by the due date. So I'm trying to get you motivated to get these things done. The midterm, mentioned here, Proctor midterm are 250 points. And it looks like I've already made that decision. You have 2 attempts on the midterm. I couldn't remember if I had actually thought through that or not, but I'll give you 2 attempts, but they're both proctored. So if it's a pain for you to have to find a proctoring center, you definitely want to do well the first time. Now, again, you have to take that practice midterm before taking the midterm, so you know what to expect on it. So you shouldn't go in there blindly. And again, you need to do well in this midterm. Because let's say you make a 60 on the midterm. That means you have to get at least a 60 on the final in order to pass the class. If you make a 70 on the midterm, you have to get at least a 50 on the final. So make sure that you get that midterm up as high as you can. Take it twice if you don't get the grade that you want. Final exam, departmental exam, is worth 250 points, and it's 40 multiple choice questions. You have 2 hours to complete it. And so I've given a flow chart here. I'm not sure if you can actually read that within here. But so step 1, you're going to watch a video lecture. I'll show you where that is in Mymathlab. Take notes. I've actually even given you sort of a notes page to help you do this. Don't try to bypass this. When you see the password appear, write it down. There's a password protected quiz within Mymathlab. I'll show you where that is. Then you're then going to take that video lecture quiz. And if you happen to miss it for some reason, just send me an email and I can override it. Really, the point of the video lecture quiz is just to make sure that you're watching the videos. And you can't move on to the homework until you've done that. The online homework, make sure that you do these. I mean, this is really where a lot of learning takes place, and I'll show you what the homework looks like. And repeat this process until you get to an online quiz. About every 2 or 3 sections, you get an online quiz. And the online quiz, it removes all the help aids, and I'll show you what that looks like in a moment. And then you repeat this until you get a test. And again, you have to take the practice test before taking the test. Okay, and then take the test. Okay, and the grading scale. So we have 90 to 100 is an A, 80 to 89 is a B, 70 to 79 is a C, and below that is an F. So there are no D's in this course. So there's no plus minus grading as well. And I've given you a little formula here to compute your average if you need to. Although Mymathlab can sort of computes a running average. That average is sometimes, if I ever have to add an assignment or remove something, the weighting sometimes gets misaligned. So it's not the official average. Here, your official average is computed by this formula here. Mymathlab does a pretty good job of getting you within a point of that, if not exactly that. So, okay, emailing me. Make sure you include your name and course in the body of your email. Don't say, can you tell me what's due on Thursday? And you don't include your name or your course. Make sure you put the name and the course. If you're replying to my email, include the original email in your reply. Otherwise, I'll send out a question and you send back something that says yes with no name, no course, and my original email is not in there. So make sure you do as good as you can of getting that. Be specific in your question, proofread. It's best if you use your MTSU email address. I can't really discuss any policy at all, any sort of grades through email, so make sure you use your MTSU email. And I will definitely get back with you, usually pretty quickly. So if you don't hear from me within 24 hours, send me another email. It may have gotten lost in the sea of emails I get. We have a math lab. So again, it may not be convenient for you since you're in the online class, but nonetheless, it's in the Stark Ag Building, room 202. There's a map here at the bottom. And I'll post the hours to that the first week. Lottery scholarship, and here is a map to my office and to the math lab. Okay, let's see what else we got. So there's an outline here, so I recommend printing this one out as well. So I've told you each week what you need to do, and I added this recently. Students seem to like it. Although these due dates are in Mymathlab, it's nice to have them sort of all in one place. Definitely print it. If you print nothing else out, print this outline out. It tells you when things are due. The quizzes and tests are, I think everything is normally due at midnight. Now there are certainly some on the midterm and final, not really a midnight because these places aren't open at midnight. So there's sort of a de facto, a different due date on those. So a different time stamp is whenever your proctoring center happens to close. Okay. And it's got the final exam when that is due as well. So when you come the first day, you log into the course, you're going to print out those two documents. And then just go ahead and get started. The introduction is what I'm doing now, so you're obviously watching that. Click on Chapter 1. And here's the first one. You're going to print off these PowerPoint notes. Okay, I don't always work the problems out here, so the problems are sort of written down there. And then when you click on the video lecture, you're going to open up the video. And the video should show up.
In this lesson, we're going to look at exponential notation and
use
order
table
of
contents
operations.
over here to scroll through and view the examples.
So if we want to
Okay.
times 4x times 4x. Before it was just 4.
Okay, and so you'll hear my voice sort of narrate how to think about these problems and then ultimately how to solve the problems and the solution. On the other chapters, Chapter 1's the one I didn't do this one thing on. Some students said that the PowerPoint notes are just too many pages, and I agree. Sometimes there are too many pages on that. They're maybe 15 pages long, which is a lot to print out. So I've created what I've called video lecture examples. So for example, 2.1, you can open this, and it'll just be the example problems pretty much. It doesn't have a lot of the vocabulary and stuff that the PowerPoints have. I leave that up to you. Now, there are some, Chapter 2, I actually made some live videos. So you can click on here, like example 2. And this is a live video of yours truly working through these problems. This is kind of an experiment I did, I believe last year or year before that.
Operation.
There I am. So working through some of these problems where you can actually see a human mind behind the solving of the problem. They really weren't terribly well received, so they take a long time to make, so I did not make them for the other chapters, but they're there for Chapter 2. If you guys really like those, I can make them for subsequent lessons. Just let me know. Okay, so you will, for instance, once you get to Chapter 2, you'll click on that, watch the video, and then you'll take the video lecture quiz. So click on Quizzes and Test. And then you'll click on Video Lecture Quiz. Now there will have been a password, not in the live videos, but in the regular videos that you will encounter. You'll need that password to take this video lecture quiz. And all the video lecture quiz asks is what was the answer to example 3 or something like that. Okay. And you'll see there are two types of quizzes here. We have video lecture quizzes, and those are almost always just 1 or 2 questions. And I think the first chapter I try to solicit some feedback on the videos. So I'll have to actually manually grade a couple of those. And then you'll see online quiz. These are the harder ones, right? These are the ones that require you to have gone through the homework for this section, to have scored reasonably well. And then you would solve this and you would answer it and click next and keep going. Okay, the quizzes are generally about 10 questions. Okay, and you get 5 attempts at these. Okay. So once you take the video lecture quiz over that lesson, let's say we're doing 1.8, then you go to the homework for 1.8. I can bypass the prerequisite, but you cannot, so continue. Okay, so the first few lessons are actually quite a bit of problems, but notice how much help you get on these problems. So let me pull this up. Okay, so write the product in exponential form. If you need help on this, let me scroll this over so you can see what we got. We have view an example. So you can view an example on a problem of this nature. And so it kind of walks you through how to think about it. you can say, help me solve this, and it'll actually help you solve that particular problem. You can watch a video. Some of the problems are equipped with videos. You can open up a part of the textbook and read that. You can click Ask My Instructor, and I'll be emailed that problem. So before you click Ask My Instructor, make sure you go through these other elements first. Don't just click that if you're a little confused, because this can really help you. So if I wanted to type this in, I would say, for instance, C, raised to the 5th. So I need to have that little button there, and then type a 5. And then I can press Enter. And that's not right, is it? So what happens if I miss it? Let me pretend and let me miss it 3 times. It kind of gives you a little hint. Okay, it tells me the correct answer. Here's my answer. And notice I've got a little red X. You can't see that. Let me raise it up. Little red X. That means I missed that problem. So what do? We don't want to have an X on our homework. So we can just redo it by pressing similar exercise down here. And that'll give me something very similar. This one's super similar, right? So I'm going to get it right. So R raised to the 3rd, right? Well done. If you want to do it again, you say, yeah, I still didn't get it. Click similar exercise again. And in fact, I'd cycle it around to the same one. I can go to the other ones as well. Some are multiple choice, a mixture of multiple choice and sort of fill in the blank. Okay, and you'll be able to see sort of a summary. You want to have as many green checks as you can through here, of course. So you've got homework, and then once you do a handful of homework, if you recall from the outline, we saw some online quizzes. You'll do an online quiz, and I'm pretty good about emailing you in the beginning anyway about when the at least the quizzes and tests are due. After the first few weeks, I don't do that because you've got that in front of you. So you have a study plan. So here's a study plan. It's really nice. What it'll do is you typically will do this after the study plan's changed a little bit. You typically do study plan after you have done some homework or quizzes. And what will happen is it'll give you problems to do based on what you've missed on the quizzes and the practice tests and tests. So don't just, if you are trying to do a test and you don't a practice test you don't do too well, don't just, in one sense, you don't want to go immediately do a practice test again because you may not really understand some stuff. So you can get a study plan and it'll give you problems to do based on what you've missed. And I'll remind you of that. I'll remind you of almost all of this that I'm going through now in subsequent emails. Okay, what else we got here? Grade book. You can check your grades, chapter content. Here's where you can view the actual book. So if you wanted to actually pull up part of the book, you can pull up the book, and I believe it's some sort of PDF or Flash document. And so here's a copy of the book. And 1.8 starts, and it kind of walks you through some of this. You can kind of pen notes and stuff like that. Write little sticky notes here. Need to know. And save. Okay. So it's a pretty good ebook. What else do we have here? Tools for success. You've got a lot of little tools you can I'll let you browse through what we have here, calculator, tutorials, and things like that. Discussions, I'm going to have you post a bio the very first day. So make sure you do that. Students who don't post a bio don't tend to do too well in the class, so make sure you get that done. And I'm not sure what you have access to here. I don't really use any of this, so we won't worry about those. And you, of course, don't have instructor resources. So that's about it. That's a quick walkthrough in about 30 minutes. It's about what I do in my on-ground class, go through how to use the system. And being in an online class, you will definitely need to read a lot more and pay much closer attention to the instructions and the videos that I send out. So I look forward to working with you. If you have any questions at all, email is the best way to get in touch with me. So I look forward to working with you again, and I hope you have a great semester.